All right, guys. So this week, the chapter is kind of all over the place. It's got a lot of different information. It's entitled Sales and Catering Applications. Sales. Sales is huge, right? Uh, it's customary in our world to pick on salesmen, and I was a salesman for 10 years. It really deeply wounded us. uh, but I tell you, sales this is a tough gig, right? I mean, if you like rejection, sales is for you. If you don't like rejection, it's not. All right. And here's the thing about sales in this industry, in any industry, sales drives everything. All right. Whether you like to admit it or not, sales drives everything. I grew up in a family that has more of an engineering background or a more operational background, and the people that had to make stuff happen when salesmen made sales. And I remember coming home and all my family would complain about the salesman did this. And here I am a salesman and I'm listening to them say that. But the bottom line is this: you can complain as an engineer because a salesman sold something and said, yeah, we can do it. We can do it. And then go to the engineer and say, make this happen. The engineer's like, how? Right. But you know what often happens? They find a way. All right. I am convinced that no innovation has ever happened in this planet without somebody selling something first. All right. Somebody has a need. They go to the salesman. The salesman, we don't know how to say no. We say, yeah, we can make it happen. Right. Then they go to the people and say, hey, I sold this, make it happen. A lot of pissed off people, excuse my language, but a lot of upset folks. But 99 times out of 100, they make it happen. All right. And when you're that company, that your sales force is like that has a yes attitude and not a no attitude, you get a competitive advantage because you've turned a no that everybody else has given a client to a yes, and you're doing it now. First off, if most people said no, there's a reason, because it's never been done or it's a very difficult thing. So if you now become the yes to everybody else's no, that's a competitive advantage. You can do things that other people can't do. So then the next person that has the same need that gets 100 no's, well, they find out that you're the yes. All right. So sales is good. So the different types of software and the different types of things that can be done to make sales happen is very, very important. Right. And this chapter touches on a few things, but there's a lot of different systems that sales has their thumbs in, right? I had a lead salesman or sales lady, to a big place here in town that does a lot of banquets and everything, and she volunteered her service. I want to talk to your folks. So I was like, I don't teach sales. And I was like, well, I don't really have anything that you could talk to them about. She said, what about contracts? Well, yes, I do. Matter of fact, I do teach a contract class. So she came in and gave an outstanding uh, um, pitch on contracts. She's not a lawyer. She's a salesman, right? Salespeople know how to do this. They're involved in all these different things, right? So the book breaks it down into basically like room kind of sales and catering. And oftentimes it's the same, especially if those of you who are going to be working at resorts and hotels. When their sales force goes out, they're not looking for mom and pop to spend the night. They're looking for events, to sell events, to bring a lot of people into to the hotel or to the resort, and the food and beverage makes some money, and the rental of the spaces and all these things. That's a big deal. It's a lot. It's a lot of money. Where I worked at, and not every hotel is like this, but I worked at a hotel that um, uh, not just food and beverage, but banquet made the most money out of any I mean, even more than rooms, right? And that's unusual, right? But so you can make a lot of money on this, right? So food and beverage, specifically banquet, they can make a lot of money. But being that place that brings a banquet in, having the space for it, you're also going to be helping the rooms department. You're going to be making a lot of money. All right, so it's very, very important. All right, so catering is a big deal. All right, this chapter goes into some of the software that catering uses, and it all kind centers around the BEO. The BEO is the banquet event order. I mean, I was reading BEOs 10 years ago, and BEO this, BEO that, and I didn't know what it meant. Hey, no one did. What's BEO stand for? I don't know, but we know what BEOs are. Anyway, the BEO is pretty much the the product in a nutshell. The product being some kind of event, right? It says what space it's going to be, how the space has to be set up. If it's one of those adjustable rooms where you can cut into thirds, fourths, halves, or whole, is it going to be the whole or is it going to be a smaller portion? And if it's going to be a smaller portion, which smaller portion? Because one has a window and the other one has the window on this side. So all that stuff is figured out. Then it's definitely going to have all your food. Detailed what food is, how many people, how's it going to be served? Is this buffet? Is it plated? Is this? Is that? When you're going to start doing the hors d'oeuvres and when you're going to start doing this, all of that is on the BEO. There's a lot of information on the BEO. BAOs can make your head spin, but there's so much good information on there. It was included in this chapter basically because the software and the systems build that, and it interacts with everything. And the information that these people need to know will go to these people. The information, because it's not just the kitchen that needs to know things; it's the front of the house, it's the banquet captains, it's the setup folks, it's the rooms division because they need to know how many people are what rooms or how many rooms are going to be sold to support this, and it's security. If there's more security, it goes to everybody, right? And it's a very important thing. All right, so that's the catering part, and I know this was very abridged, and I apologize, but that's the catering part. Centers around the BEO. Now, sales. You can't talk sales in a hotel without talking revenue management. Now, we briefly touched on revenue management before, but revenue management is simply a way to price the room that you're going to make the most money and it's going to sell. I've said this before, I said 100 times. Our products in the hospitality field are perishable. If we do not sell this room tonight, the money that we're going to make on that room, if it stays empty, is gone. We will never get it back. Now, yes, we'll sell that room again, but the money that we would have made tonight is gone. Retail is different. If I have something on the shelf, somebody picks it up and walks over to the counter and goes to buy it and says, no, puts it back and walks away. Well, that's bad, but there's only so much money we're going to make out of that, because once it's gone, it's gone. The money we were going to make out of that is gone. But we have for it to be making us money, it has to be purchased by somebody and walks away. But if it's not, it's on there, it's on the shelf, someone else tomorrow. The only money we're ever going to make from it is either today, tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day, whenever. But with a hotel, if we have an empty room, we're never going to make that money again. All right. And because of that, we have revenue management. And revenue management is simply a system that goes in and looks at many different things. It's a computerized system, part of the PMS, maybe not part of the PMS, and several different systems that work together to create this picture of the demand. It's basically supply and demand mostly. But the supply and demand, other things, what's going on, the weather, it figures out all those things, and how close it is to check-in time. It stands to reason that if you walk into a hotel at 11 o'clock at night and you need a room for the night, you're going to pay less than someone who walked in at 8 in the morning, because if it ain't you, it ain't nobody. All right. So that's what revenue management is. And it ties into the different systems in many different ways, has many different reports. You can read all about it in this chapter. Now, again, this chapter is kind of just all over the place, but there's a lot of good information. So please read it. We do have a quiz this week and a discussion, and I will see you next week. Okay.